Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cosmic Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I want to thank you so much for joining us, whether you're here in the audience or watching us on replay, or maybe you're watching us on YouTube. And if you are, please hit like and subscribe. I would sincerely appreciate that. And I want to thank you again for being here with us tonight, because this month, my co-host is Aage Nost, and you've heard me talk about him being an author. He is a talk show host, and he is just an absolute delight to have on this month. And Aage, I really appreciate you being here, and I would like to ask if you would come up and have you to introduce our special guest for tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. It's an incredible guy. You're going to love him. He's an author, and yeah, he's got about 25 years or so as a radio host, and also had a bunch of radio shows, and done hosting and producing 2 TV shows for 6 years. And he's a retired pilot. And I want to introduce the guest. No, not yet. And that is me. So, yeah, from there on, I guess we can go absolutely anywhere. You're the driver, and I'm riding coach with you. And wherever you go, I will follow.
Well, that's awesome. And I do want to thank you. You have been an absolute awesome co-host this month, and I've had a blast getting to do this show and, kind of joke around with you. Although you are a pretty serious guy, as you guys can all tell tonight. Super serious. Yeah. But Aage, you have a show where you're talking about the masterminds, and you bring on a lot of different perspectives that I'm hoping you'll share with us tonight. I'd really like for you to talk about, kind of how you got from where you were to where you are now, some of the experiences in between, talk about your shows. And I just want to turn it over to you and have you just to share, really from your heart, what it is that you want people to know.
Oh boy. I would say that there is nothing, even though I've done a lot, it's nothing special about me, because everybody can do things. There's one thing that I am thankful for, and that is that I just never learned how to be lazy. That's a hard thing to learn for people like me. It's you just can't do it. If it's almost like UPS, the package store. They take each second, they break it up into 60 different parts, and they make sure something happens in each one of those parts.
Right.
It's almost laughable. I work 12, 16 hours a day, and I guess I'm healthier than most people I know. But I have gotten to where I am today. I came from Norway, and I grew up on a farm over there, and traditions are very strong over there. So if you grow up on a farm and you're the oldest son, that means that you become a farmer, and there ain't no buts about it. You're the farmer. And I just couldn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. So I broke tradition and left and went to the United States to become a pilot, commercial pilot. And that was back in the dark ages in 1972. I shouldn't really date myself like that, but I did get all my certificates and ratings, including all the way up to multi-engine instrument instructor. And those are not easy to get. They're a little involved. When you got more than one engine, there's more that can go wrong. So I flew for 23 years, and it was a lot of fun. And I've been in business basically all my life, so I've I've learned a few things. But after I quit flying, I started doing radio interviews because I had studied a lot. I've done hypnosis, and I have some incredible stories in relation to hypnosis. So I started talking about that. And then I started studying the mind, and then it got interesting. And when I do shows like this, I really like, it's okay to talk about all this exotic stuff and the interesting stuff about what's on the moon, what's on Mars, and how do you, what is out there, and all these strange things. But what does that do for you actually in your day-to-day life? It satisfies your curiosity. So there is a form of satisfaction with it. But then again, what does it really do for you to better your life every day? And that's what I like to do. I want to talk about things that makes people's lives better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I would request that those of you out there that has got a scheduled call with your brother-in-law in about 20 minutes, wait for that one. Stay with me, because if you listen through this hour and a half, your life will be better for it. I guarantee you. You're going to learn some things, because I'm going to try to make it a little bit of a learning session also. And when we want to expand our consciousness and our spirituality, it works a lot better when you know who and what you are and our creative capabilities. And you got to know what you want, because if you don't know what you want, how can the universal mind or whoever's helping you create in your life, how do they know what you want? It's just, yeah, you're going to get stuff, but it is either what is someone else is creating in your mind for you, or what is in your master plan for your life. And there's the word, master plan. When you come here, take on this suit, this meat suit that you're carrying around, there is baggage coming with it. And that baggage comes from beyond the veil, before you were born. But the trick about that is that there is ways to circumvent some of the more negative baggage, and also attract some of the more positive baggage that is sitting off to the side. And all you have to do is to concentrate on it, create it in your mind, and manifest it. You can do that. But if you don't know what you want, it's just sitting there. It's ready for you when you are. And that's when you know what you want. I'm going to dwell a little bit on this, because that's what we do on the mastermind. We concentrate on things that all of us want together, and we focus on it. We intend for it to happen. We feel emotion for it. We feel intention, and we create vivid, colorful images around it. We see ourselves with it, doing it, in it, having it, and sharing it with others. And when we do that, and then we go, first we create that bubble that has a specific vibration attached to it. And then we go into meditation, and that bubble goes into the universal mind, into the quantum existence, and looks around. For if anybody else or anything else has thought of the same thing or created the same thing, it is there. You can, your little bubble of request for manifestation goes out, looks around, try to find a match in vibration. When it finds it, it starts bringing it back into the physical with you. And this is so simple. Everybody should do this. But not everybody do, and that's why you have a lot of misery. I have been doing this for years and I really don't have any misery. Well, maybe that's other reasons, but this helps. And another thing is that once you start doing this, things will happen. Sometimes when you manifest things, what you perceive to be negative things can come with it because it had that attachment.
Right.
And that is something that in order to get to the good parts, we may have to go through something that is not all that positive. So you keep your eye on the goal. You keep manifesting it in your mind, visualizing, feeling it, and loving it into existence. And send it out to the quantum field, and it comes back. Whatever comes back with it is okay. Work through it. Boy, have I had a lot of that. But when you go through it, there are great things on the other side. Because all you have to do is to look at your goal. You don't care about the rocks in the road. That is something you step over. And when we do this, we're on a path. We have blinders on. I don't care what's happening on this. I have created my timeline into the future, and there is good things in it. The good things that I have visualized, loved into existence, I place it in the future and visualize it in the present. So I get drawn up that timeline to that time-coded event in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's fantastic.
What's that?
I said, that's fantastic. You know, so many people focus on the fear or the things that are just right in front of them that they forget. If we can become detached and send out or focus on that, whatever it is that we want to create, that we can, in fact, do that. And I love your analogy.
Yeah. And you're exactly right. You know, there's a lot of people out there saying that live in the moment. There is a great thought leader out there, without mentioning his name. He has written books on stay in the present. And I totally agree. If you have everything you need and want in the present, don't think about anything else. But if there's something missing, start creating it. Place it in the future at a time-coded event. And that doesn't mean a calendar event. Calendars are worthless to the quantum existence. That is man-made. It means nothing out there. The time-coded event needs to be a Christmas party, birthday party, or something that has an event with it. Because that it understands. When the people are together and standing there toasting your success and so on. But when we are starting to think like this, we got to remember we have unlimited creative capability. Okay, I know, I lost a few now. What does the word unlimited mean? That means there are no limitations to what you can create. It is just as easy for the universal mind to create for you $20.16 as it is to give you a Cadillac, a new house. It is just as simple. It is there in the quantum field. All you have to do is to attach it and bring it home. But when I say unlimited, that goes a little bit beyond that, right? Let me elaborate on that. And maybe we could do a little mind experiments, and I can explain to you so you will absolutely understand why you have unlimited creative capability. So wherever you are right now, wherever you're sitting, just relax. If you want to participate in this, that is wonderful. You're going to have a great experience with it. If you don't, that's okay. Turn your camera off so you don't distract others. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Close your eyes. Lean back and relax. In your mind's eye, just visualize yourself raising up from where you are and walking towards where there is a mirror, and close your eyes. Yes. If you close your eyes, it's going to be better. And stand in front of that mirror and look at yourself in the mirror. You see yourself, but around yourself, you see this bright, white, yellowish light that is forming to the contours of your body. It stands out around 5-6 inches from your body. All that light is around you. This is you at your core, the light being you really are as a spiritual being. You can, if you look at yourself now inside of this light being that you're looking at, you can barely see your physical self inside the light. It is that strong. Just look at yourself in the mirror. You see the light around you, and you can barely see yourself inside the light. This is you. Anytime you are in doubt of your capabilities, or fear sneaks up on you, or you are thinking that, oh, that's not going to happen. Think of who you are and remember you have unlimited creative capability. So whatever you think about, visualize, and love into existence. And whatever you allow to dwell in your mind the most, that is what you're going to have in your life. So now just walk back to your chair and you're going to be all right. Now you have seen yourself. You have seen yourself, what you really are. Now you got something else to think about, is know what you want so you know what to create. And knowing you have unlimited creative capability, you can, let me put it this way. I've asked you a question. If money and time was no object whatsoever, what would you start tomorrow morning if you knew you could not fail? Okay, I paused on purpose because I want you to think. See, the thing is that normally people don't think in those terms, and that's why they have average things. When you decide on what you really want more than anything else, that goal is should be so big that it'll scare the chocolate out of you. And then start working on it. Start visualizing it, feeling it, feeling the gratitude for already having it. Create visual, colorful images around it and love it into existence. Send it off into the quantum existence and it'll find a match and start bringing it back home. This is what we do in the mastermind on Sundays. And we have done some incredible things. Well, let me mention a couple of, take about a minute and a half, and I'll mention a couple of things. One of them was John. He called me early on a Sunday, and he said, my wife is in the hospital. She's in a really bad way with COVID. She's going down the tube, he said, and they were going to start the remdesivir the next day and put her on the ventilator. You know, remdesivir, that's what kills you. That's designed to kill you. So that's it. But he said, what can we do on the mastermind? So I said, let's do something. So when we got the mastermind, we wrapped our mastermind around her, the hospital, and we visualized her walking out of the hospital the next day. Actually, not the next day. We saw it in the present, but if you know anything about hospitals, they won't let you walk out of the hospital. They'll have to have you in a wheelchair. Guess what? She didn't have a wheelchair. She walked out. Because the next day in the afternoon, they called John and they said, come and get your wife. She's well enough. She can come home. And his wife told him that the doctor said that you recovered so fast that there's no reason for us to keep you anymore. That is just one. Another one was, it's a lady in Northern California, about probably 8 months ago now. There was all kinds of forest fires up there. And she called me and she said, I'm going to have to move into town because there is fires coming my way and I'm afraid my house is going to burn. So that Sunday, the next day actually, we wrapped our mastermind around her house in Northern California. And what we did, we were standing on a hill in our mind's eye. We were standing on a hill looking towards where the fires came from, and there were no fires out there. The rain was coming down. The rain was coming down, dropping on our head. The hair was wet, hanging in our face. The clothes were all wet. My boots were filling up with water. We were standing there and feeling the rain, living the rain, and being happy because of what it did for the forest fires and for the earth. And we were done. And I love to say that it was clear sky beforehand, but it wasn't. But there were some clouds, but not that much that could create the howling rain that came an hour and a half later. She called me and she took a short video of herself where she was, standing and the rain was coming down and her hair was hanging in her face and her house was saved. This is just 2 examples, and we have many, many, many more like this. This is what you can do when you create a mastermind, or come and join ours and participate in what we do. The thing is that everybody should do a mastermind. Ball clubs, they already do it. They sit down and do these things. But families should do it. You should do it on Sunday and Monday, Tuesday, and the rest of the week, once a day, or at least on Sundays, or one day of the week where you all get together, you decide on what you want, and then you all start visualizing it into existence. If you're 2 of you, that's good enough to start, because the definition of the mastermind is when 2 or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind that has the potential mind power of the 2 or more of them multiplied by each other. So if 1,000 people get together, concentrate on one thing, now you have the combined mind power of 1,000,000 minds, and that is powerful. When you do this, it is not thought anymore. It is now an energy. Oh, I heard somebody thinking here, but I'm single. All right. Was that you, Sheila?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay. Somebody was thinking that because I heard it.
No, it wasn't me.
If you are single, you can still do a mastermind because you don't have to do it with live people even, because
Oh,
the consciousness of a person is energy. It does not go away. It only takes other forms, and it's in the quantum field. You can sit down in meditation, visualize a table, place your mom there. If she's dead, fine, put her there. Put your dad there. If he's gone, put him there. Put Nikola Tesla in front of you, or anybody that is alive that you want to brainstorm with. Put them around the table and see them in your mind. And then you go into meditation and you go through what we're talking about. Now you are brainstorming with these people's consciousness. You'll be amazed what can come. We've done this, and I've done it. And one of the people that well, that's a little out there, but
so Aage, are we going to do this tonight? Are
say
we going
again?
to have a little mastermind session?
If you want to.
Yeah, I'm game.
Okay. All right. What I will do then, we will go into a meditative state, and then we will concentrate on let's take something that I know everybody would want. Let's not try the Cadillac. Somebody on this panel doesn't want a Cadillac. So we'll do something that everybody wants, like abundance.
There you go.
Because abundance goes way beyond economics. It goes abundance of friends, abundance of love in your life, abundance on whatever you envision it to be. So what we can do is, I'll talk you into a meditative state, and then we will think of something that represents abundance to you. That could be a new home. But yeah, it could be a car, but it could be a different car.
And it's okay if everyone thinks abundance is different, or should we choose one thing and everybody think about that?
No, each one can think of their own thing because it creates the vibration of abundance. And the universal consciousness, or the quantum existence, or God, if you like, knows how to distinguish between each one of us.
Okay.
So each one can think about their own thing, and that will be fine. So let's sit back again and just relax. Put your feet on the floor and relax. Feel the feet just heavy against the floor. And you feel yourself sinking into the chair. And if you don't want to participate, that's perfectly all right. And then maybe just turn the camera so you don't.
Uh-oh. Let me check that for you. Susie.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah, it was Susie.
All right. That's good. All right. So just relax. Put your feet on the floor. They feel heavy against the floor, and you feel like you're sinking into the chair. You feel heavy. You feel relaxed. You feel your arms are resting heavy against where they are. Your shoulders are sinking down. Your chest muscles are relaxing. Your back muscles are relaxing. All your organs are working in perfect order. Now just relax and think about nothing except my voice. Just listen and listen. And no other thoughts are coming to your mind. You are relaxed. You feel good. You feel this slight anticipation of creating wonderful things right now. And you are ready. You're relaxed, and your brainwave patterns have gone down into the bottom of the alpha range, about 7 cycles per second. Your brain's frequency is at 7 cycles per second. Just for a moment, see the black background with a white number 7 in front of you. That is your brain's frequency. Now, think of something for the next minute that represents abundance for you. See it in your mind. Feel it. Select something that you will do and use every time from now on. So it will magnify the concentration and the effectiveness of getting it. Think of what represents abundance for you. Abundance is all around you. It is yours. It is yours. See yourself with it. See yourself in it, with it, doing it, having it. It is yours. Now feel the happiness for having it. Feel the gratitude for already having it, for being with it. In your mind's eye, say, I thank you for having sent this to me. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Abundance is all around you. It is yours. See other people enjoying it with you. Look around you, you see other people standing around with glasses of champagne or something, toasting the success of what you created. Say the words, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I highly recommend that we do this exercise every day. If you do it every day, you magnify the image of what you want. And it is yours. So now come back to the chair. And you are back, open your eyes and perfectly, you're doing perfectly well, and promise yourself that you will do this or something very similar every day, and you are going to see your life will change. People will come into your life that can help you get it. Situations will show up where you have an opportunity to get it. And in fact, when we talk about what the mind can create, I'm going to take this one step further. And this is, I wrote down this, I read this in an article. It's back in 1981. There was a guy, his name was Morris Goodman. He was in a plane crash, and the doctors did not think he was going to live very long. So he broke his back right above the chest, right about back in here. And he severed the spinal cord, punctured his diaphragm, and he could not breathe unless he was on a ventilator. He could not move any part of his body except for his head. He understood the power of the mind, and he visualized himself being healthy. He did it for hours every day. Short time it took, and he regenerated the diaphragm so he could breathe again on his own. And in a few months, he was up walking because he rebuilt the spine and the spinal cord, and the doctors were dumbfounded. This should not have happened, but it did. This is a true medical story. And if you look at that, you can also think about Joe Dispenza. He had something similar happen to him. He had an accident where he crushed the spine for about 2 inches worth. There was just crud in there that previously was the vertebrae. He did the same thing, and he rebuilt the spine. So now anybody on this panel or anybody you know that has a medical deficiency somewhere or somehow, tell them about this. Because if you start visualizing yourself being healthy, let's say you've been a lush and your liver is gone to, you know where. Yeah, start visualizing a healthy liver. Of course, it would help to quit drinking. You got to help the universe help you, but start visualizing a healthy liver and do it every day for take a half hour, an hour. That liver will start regrowing itself. In fact, there is medical history written in a medical journals of someone I read a long time ago. He had donated his liver to a family relative that needed one. And he decided that, well, I ain't got more than one liver, but I want to regrow the one I gave away. And he did. So he ended up with 2 livers again. You can actually do that. But you got to spend some time with it, because it doesn't happen tomorrow by 4 in the afternoon. It could take you a few months. So yeah, there is enormous capability in your subconscious mind and the universal mind when they work together. And also the right and the left hemisphere. And here's something for you that can help you join the 2 hemispheres. Go on YouTube and put the brain yoga into the search bar and find yourself one of those. There's a whole bunch of the videos that explains brain yoga. And when you do that little exercise, it joins the 2 hemispheres. And they've been doing it with kids that has been ADD and they couldn't learn to save their life when they were little, like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade or so. And within hours, they can sit down and focus and score good on the tests. It's because the 2 hemispheres are working together. They're not fighting each other like it was before. So you really should do that. The subconscious mind actually have 2 things to it. First of all, it is the brain. I compare that to a computer, the hardware. And then you have everything you have learned, seen, and experienced that goes in there as memory is placed into the brain. That's the software. And whatever is placed into that brain goes in as memory and takes everything literal as fact and truth. So it is just like a computer. Whatever you put into the computer you're sitting looking at right now, that's it. The computer on its own did not start evaluating how true things are. Neither does your subconscious brain. So whatever you're told, that is what the subconscious brain is creating. Subconscious mind programs, and it's replaying it, because everything you do during the days comes from memory. About 95% of everything you do comes from memory. You're doing the same thing you did yesterday, just different variances of it. And I would highly recommend that people go and research a little bit on this to find out the difference between the brain and the mind. The mind is non-local. It's not even in your brain. The brain is a tool of the mind. And when you get the two of them to work together, you can do wonders. You can reprogram the subconscious mind. And you can also, when somebody tells you that you're no good, listen to what they say. You don't have to argue with them. That's not going to work much. But as soon as they're done saying it, in your mind, say the phrase, cancel, cancel, cancel. Because they told you you were no good. And that goes into short-term memory, and it sits there and festers for anything from 5 to 20 minutes before it goes into long-term memory. And now you say cancel, cancel, cancel. So now you add that to what you just heard. And when it goes into the subconscious brain, it has cancel, cancel, cancel attached to it. So the subconscious mind realizes that, oh yeah, I'm no good, but that was canceled. So nothing happens. And that's especially good when I screw up and I say something I shouldn't have said, which happens a lot. And when I realize that I screwed up and said something that I shouldn't have said, in my mind, I say, oh, cancel, cancel, cancel. And that goes right in with what I said into short-term memory and festers. The thing I said wrong plus cancel, cancel, cancel goes into the subconscious memory, and it is canceled out. This is a trick that a lot of people, well, some are using it, and it helps to keep your subconscious knowledge and memory clean of negativity. And there's two ways to reprogram the subconscious mind. One of them is by repetition. That's what affirmations are for. It's just that affirmation when you're walking around during the day don't work very well. You got to be down on the alpha or below or rainbow patterns. Then it works good, because that's the learning state. And there's a book out there called Alpha Thinking. I think I got two of them on the shelf somewhere. And besides that, I wrote a book on this also. There's Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. You'll find it on Amazon. Just put my name in there and it'll come up. And I explained a lot of them brain tricks and the mind tricks that you can do to perfect the brain and the mind so they work together and you can do amazing things. And hypnosis is an excellent way to reprogram the subconscious mind. Let me tell you what I did. When I came from Norway to the United States, I knew English very well, but that's not American. I had language barriers. There's a lot of stuff in the American language that is totally unknown to one that knows English. And yeah, that was me. And I brought a big tape recorder, with the two reels on it. Maybe you're younger, you don't know what that is, but I had one of those with me. And I found an endless loop tape. It was 30 minutes long. And when I was in flight school, when there was something I really needed to know for a test, I talked it in on that endless loop tape a few days before the test. And I ran that at night while I slept. Because when you sleep, the brainwave pattern goes down into the bottom of the alpha, into theta, and even below. That's the super learning state. And when I ran that at night, whatever was on the tape went straight, bypassed conscious understanding through the subconscious mind into the alpha state of awareness or below. And it's just like putting it directly into long-term memory. So later on, when I did the test, I shouldn't, but I had most of the first one I kind of didn't, but I had most of my test on the wall of honor, and that meant that I had it at 80% or above. And it surprised me. But that works. If you get a tape recorder, find an endless loop tape and talk whatever you need to learn. Or if you have a bad habit, you can get rid of it. Or if you want a good habit, speak that in. I will do such and such, and then speak that in on a tape and make it a 30-second tape so you can run over and over and over again at night. And then you reprogram the subconscious mind. And if you don't want to go out and get a tape recorder, go to Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube and go into the member section. I have created tapes like that for you. You run that tape at night, and it'll reprogram the subconscious mind for success, for perfect memory, for perfect health, and other things. Stop procrastination, things like that. And this is something that everybody should do, but we just don't think about it. Because if you don't control your mind, someone else is. And they don't control your mind for your purpose. They control your mind for their purpose. And that may not be a good thing. Unless it's your mom. She usually have your best interest at heart. But then again, she screwed up a lot of things when she grew up, and she ended up teaching you the same screw-ups that she did. So if you have learned all those screw-ups and you keep doing them, you can reprogram the subconscious mind to change the programs so you don't have to do those negative things anymore. I think I've talked enough on this one, haven't I?
That's great. I wanted to ask, so Aage, do you want to share with people what else do you have in your member section on YouTube?
I have one, well, my story is in there. Mm-hmm. Where I came from, what I did, and how I felt about things leaving Norway. Everybody thought I was a raving idiot leaving that farm and going over here, because they knew that most young guys from Norway, they went to the United States to become a pilot. They couldn't handle the pressure. They couldn't handle the demand for excellence. And they went back home and became taxi drivers or something like that. But I did something that they probably didn't do. I burned my bridge. I couldn't go back because we sold the farm. And I was no way in heck I was going to go back and become a taxi driver. So I stayed and I worked through it, and it was hard, but I never gave up. And I tell you, it's been a ride. I have done more than several people would do in their lifetime, and I've had a phenomenal ride. I feel happy about it. What I have learned, here's another good thing for you that you may want to look into. For 1 year, I got to travel around the country in the United States teaching a mind development course where we taught people how to assimilate information out of a book at about 3 to 5 minutes. We got the whole book, 2 pages a second, and we assimilated with 95% retention. And for people that is in college, if you get kids in college, this is a course that I highly recommend because I know it did wonders for you. In 1 year, I probably read 1,000 books that year. Yeah. And it's called Zox Pro Training, ZOX Pro Training. They're still doing it, even though I did it in the mid-1990s. He's still doing it because the education system, they are scared shitless of this. They don't want to hear about it because what in the world, if you have kids with photographic memory and can read a book in 5 minutes, what in the world do you need teachers for? So it's a political decision. They want nothing to do with it, so they can keep the jobs program going. Anyway, that's...
So Aage, I know that on Broadcast Team Alpha, you've had so many people and you've delved into so many different conversations. I was wondering, is there any particular interview that kind of stands out, that they said something that sparked a light in you, or just something that maybe just touched your heart? We're getting to know Aage tonight.
Oh, I tell you, that's going to be a hard one because we have so many people that really pull at the heartstrings. And there is one lady, she's a psychic in Canada, Jenny G.
Jenny G. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's probably on your platform. Yeah. I tell you, she is really good at what she does. And we've had her on several times talking about giving readings and stuff, and that is one thing. But when she started to talk about the spiritual part of what she's doing, that got me here. Well, on the left.
Right there.
Unless I'm walking. But I think that, and there's so many other people that is so interesting. Mm-hmm. And I think that go there and just also go to Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube or broadcastteamalpha.com. If you go to .com, then go also into the picture gallery, because we got 5,000 pictures of things that should not exist, but it does. Like pyramids on the moon, and those are NASA prints. Alien beings. And I could just have a look at it. And otherwise, you see a lot of the videos that Nori and I have done individually. I talk about a lot of the goofy stuff that also shouldn't be possible, but it is possible. And look at the video, even on YouTube. You can go to live videos, that's the shows, and that goes into videos. Then you can get all the extra stuff that we put on there. Just have a look.
Right. And you've just recently started a new show actually on Conscious Awakening Network about the paranormal. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, that's something that I've done two shows on it now. One of them I did on my own in the beginning, and the last one here was a guy from MUFON that talked to some of the best cases that MUFON has investigated. It's called The Paranormal World. And I'm going to have people on, or I may be, I'm preparing one show right now on a very interesting subject, and that is that back decades ago, the United States did a human exchange program with an alien race on another planet. 12 of our people went there, and a couple came and stayed here for 10 years. Actually, it turned out to be 13. This is going to be a very interesting story, and I'm going to have that on there probably in about I don't know, a week or two. No, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do shows like that as well as having guests. So the paranormal world is under the umbrella of the MasterMind. No. Broadcast Team Alpha. And another thing I want to say is that Nori and I have done Broadcast Team Alpha for just shy of 5 years now. And I have gotten to know her really well. I know what's in her heart. She's a healer and a hypnotherapist. And this may be for some of you, there is somebody on this on this panel that has an implant or have missing time. I suggest you get in touch with Nori. Do a hypnosis session with her. She's a hypnotherapist. And go back and have a look at that missing time. What actually did happen? Or go back and find out, how did that implant that's sitting behind my ear or sitting in my brain or sitting somewhere, how did it get there? Who put it there? And why?
So,
yeah, this is something that there are some people that say, I really don't want to know. Yeah, but it bothers you. You really need to know, because then you can start getting some healing.
beautiful, beautiful. Just a moment ago, Stone, did we lose you? Are you still here? I saw that you had your hand up.
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay.
Okay, I've got it's 2 questions. The first one is, I wanted to know, this is earlier on in your talk, I wanted to know what you were growing in your garden. And then the second part was, okay, I've had, I'm a walk-in, I'm a hybrid. I've got a lot of different beings coming and going 24/7. And I've got a regular that's almost every night at the moment bringing me some new information. And it started with watching the AI, artificial intelligence, being implanted into the vessels and systems to harvest the information and data to move on to the next vessel. Where did the DNA exchange first begin? Was it at the fallen angels? And when I say fallen angels, there were 2 sides. Those that knew what was going on as the creator was recreating human, the organic and the hue DNA. So we've got two sides of one saying, yes, it'll be a good thing, and one saying, no, it's a bad thing, which I'm seeing is happening right now for the next age. Can you see that? Are you, what is your take on where the DNA comes from? Because I worked in bloods, I'm a phlebotomist, I'm a QPT, and I'm also very aware of the life force within each cell. I'm multi-dimensional.
Yeah, that was a multi-dimensional question.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But I was trying to follow your thread through this, and I ended up with 2 or 3 different threads. So I'm gonna go to the AI first. There will be a day in our future, and I've seen it, where there will be 2 different forms of humans on Earth. Because about half the population of Earth right now, they have been, how should I say that so we can remain on YouTube?
They have been gifted.
They have taken something. It
Yeah.
altered the DNA.
Yeah.
They have become a cyborg. And there's no way to reverse that, because you can take supplements and all that, that'll work organically, but it doesn't work on metallic nanobots. So you're it. If you took it, you're it. You are. And this is something that will be activated with radiation. And I'm not going to say what kind, because I still want you to be on YouTube. So that will be one. And then there will be the ones, very few, that will remain pure. The first, they didn't take it, and they did not be in an area where they ate the food that it came in. They put it in pork, meat, cabbage. You are being injected with it through that. That really is extremely difficult to avoid it. Now, there are advantages to this, is what they're telling you, because once they turn your body into a walking computer, you have full access to everything on the on YouTube, no, on the internet. By the power of thought, you can bring out the information, and you know. So if that's what you want, great, go for it. I'm just one of those people, rather not, before I see what happened to the other guys. Because the one guy, the Microsoft man, he's been running around for decades saying that we have too many people on Earth. And you know, he's the one that is supposed to save your life through vaccinations. Something doesn't match here. So you got to think about that. But when it comes to DNA, we know the written history of Earth says in the Sumerian tablets that the Anunnaki, they took a creature that was already there, and they took out of that creature, they took the 2 twisted rods of life, and they injected substance of their own into those 2 twisted rods of life, and they created a new being they called man. And they did. But that was not the only being that they created. They did a lot of them that failed, and there was, first one was Lulu. It wasn't Adam, that was Lulu. But there are other on Earth that never went through that process because they were seeded from space. The black people, they came from Sirius too. Chinese and probably Japanese. I am not sure. The Chinese, they came from another planet. And there are different, the Nordics, they came from, the rumor is that it appears to me as a Pleiadian, but what nobody talks about is that the Pleiadian also, they are telepathic. But how are they telepathic? They have electronic enhancement of the brain to become what they are. So they are able to use the electronic enhancement that we now are getting. And there, of course, they use it for good. But I'm not so sure that our government and other people are able to use it for good here yet. But that's why it's so important, what I was talking about earlier. Visualize your life the way you want it to be in perfect order. Place it into the future, the time-coded event, go visit it every day and draw yourself up that timeline to it, and nothing else matters. There are a lot of other timelines with garbage in it, and you couldn't care less what happens in those timelines because you're not there. I'm not so sure I answered your question, actually.
You've said what was needed to be heard.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for that.
All right, thanks, Stone. Let's see, Ricky, you have a question?
Hello, yes, I do. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, hi. Well, thank you for the show. I'm really enjoying it. I had basically two questions. One's real quick. The Janie that you were talking about from Canada, is that Tarot by Janie? I listened to her. She's one of my favorites, but she seems to be really, really good. I think she's from British Columbia.
Jenny G, yeah, she is from Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. I know on her channel, she goes by Tarot by Janie or Janie. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tarot by Janie.
I've known a lot of psychics, and actually there is another one. Jenny G is probably the best one around now that I know, and there's another one that me and her had a radio show out of Sanford, Florida in 1997, where we were giving psychic readings on the radio. She was good because the police used her to find missing people. But
Okay.
Jenny,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really enjoy her. I listen to her on her Patreon page, so I get all of her information. But yeah, I really like Janie. She seems like she's probably the best one that I've seen. My second question is on the the thing that everybody, well, a lot of people got that you were just talking about. Fortunately, I didn't get that, and I never wanted to. I was also told, or I've heard through several different people that channel some of the different star races that there's going to be, well, we're getting a lot of these solar flares that are coming through that are activating our DNA, upgrading our DNA, and that towards the end we're going to get this a large solar flash in the next before 2030 sometime, and that is going to activate most of our DNA, at least maybe up to 12 strands. I'm not sure, but the ones that did get that, that got the thing, if they were people that didn't want it, but they had to have it for their job to keep their job, but they weren't pushing it, and they weren't part of the whole group that was trying to give it to people, that the main solar flash was going to deactivate that for those people. Only the ones that were pushing it and this whole agenda were going to be the ones that would stay in the lower timelines when most of the Earth moved into the fifth density. Have you heard anything about that?
yeah, but I am probably the outcast when it comes to this issue, because I have seen some things in the future. By the way, if you go to broadcastteamalpha.com, go into the picture gallery, go to page 15. There are two pictures next to each other that show photographic evidence of time travel. I took the pictures. So I have a little bit of an idea of what's going to happen, because every 26,600 years, we're traveling around the great circles of the galaxy. Every 26,660, I think it is, years, we're on the same spot. And there is a special radiation for that spot that comes out from the center of the galaxy, and we're right now in it. We're going through it. And that is what accelerates our vibration and create all the changes that we see. When they talk about the sun flare, go ahead and Google the Carrington event. In 1858, I think it was, there was one like that. What happened? The telegraph lines burned up, and the telegraph stations along the railroad tracks caught fire. And if they had computer, it would have burned them out, all of them. And people got dizzy. There is nothing positive in a Carrington event that people are hoping is going to come. And I know everybody is listening to each other when it comes to this issue.
Oh,
I'm still here. I can't
okay.
hear.
He's
I don't hear
frozen.
Aage.
We may have temporarily lost Augie. I know that he was having lightning storms where he was. He temporarily had lost service this afternoon. But Augie, are you able to hear us?
He's not in Costa Rica, is he? I mean, we're having a big lightning here too. I lost power a little while ago.
I'm not exactly sure where he is, but he is not with us. So I hope he'll be rejoining us. So again, Augie has had some phenomenal experiences himself. That's one of the reasons I wanted to bring him on tonight. So I'm glad he's talking about his time travel. I'm not sure if the page 15 is on his website or if it is on the YouTube. But Stone, could you look up the broadcast team Alpha and see if there's the photographs there? Because while we're waiting on him to rejoin us, maybe we can pull up that photo. And I will just say next week, we'll be having Ishmael Perez is going to come back because he had to cut his time short, but he asked and said that he would like to come back next week. And of course, Augie will be here with us. And then at the end of the month, we have another gentleman who has a camera that actually can photograph the future and has done so. And so, we have some really exciting information coming up. So Stone, did you have any success?
I've posted the link, the YouTube link.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where to go in there to find what he's mentioning.
Okay. All right. So he did say that it was on page 15. So maybe what I do, does anyone have any other comments that they wanted to share? Not specifically a question for Augie, but if you have a comment, here we go. Let's see. He says he will be back. So if you do have any comments, now would be a great time to share those. Okay, Ricky, you have another?
Actually, I was just wondering, you said Ishmael Perez, which I follow. I've been following him for at least 2 years. I really like and resonate with him. And I was curious, when did you say he was coming on?
He'll be here next Monday, the
Oh,
24th.
great.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a live also?
It will be. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Hey, Julia.
I always get excited when I hear about the way we changed humanity. And I've always had a really, really, really strong resonance that I was part of the council. With what you're saying here tonight, it just brings all of that back up.
Aggie.
Is there a source where I could connect with someone else? Is what I want to know.
That's awesome. So I'd be interested in, if you get any more clarity on that, please share with us.
I think the only way I'll get clarity is if I have someone to talk to. Would it be possible for me to have a conversation with you?
Sure. You can email me at sheila@sheilaseppi.com.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
And
I might be able to write it out to you so that
Okay.
we don't have to take up time. You can do it when it's.
okay, great, great. Okay, so I have, let's see, Anne, did you have a question or comment?
I did, Sheila.
Hi.
I sent you messages already, but I lost contact with you for a while. I'm not sure why. Are you doing this every Monday?
Yes, every Monday, and it's always the same link for Monday and Thursday.
Fabulous, because I missed you and I'm so glad to be back with you.
Well, we are so glad to have you.
Thank you,
So-
dear.
I have Aage on the phone. So let's see, Aage, go ahead and talk and let's see if if people can hear you.
Okay, I lost the internet here because we have a huge thunderstorm in the area, and there were hail a little while ago, and I could knock something out because I got no internet right now.
Okay, is everyone hearing Aage?
Yes, perfectly.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Good.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yep.
So, all right, does anyone else have a question for Aage?
Let me say something first, and that is
Sure.
that when it comes to that sun flare,
Mhm.
there's a lot of gamma radiation in that.
Right.
This is not me saying this. This is science. There's a lot of gamma radiation, and gamma radiation is very destructive to DNA. So I'm not on board with it, but I don't really interrupt a lot with it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Carol, you have a question?
Yes, Sheila. I always thank you for doing Galactic Alliance, and how's Willow?
He's
Good?
sound asleep.
Great, good, excellent. Oh, start video. Can't see me. Okay, video has stopped. What's going on here? Oh, okay. I don't understand that. I'm trying to. Oh, okay, so my video has stopped because the host has stopped. Okay. All right. With how do you say his name?
Aage.
Aage. Okay, Aage. Question for Aage. Everything he's talking about is in the knowledge book. It's a woman in Turkey. She's Mrs. Chorak, and she's in touch with they call themselves ETs to make it easy for us. But everything he's been talking about, they want humans to go to higher levels of consciousness. We stop warring and stop destroying the planet and stop playing around with nuclear weapons. We could nuke ourselves, right? And then they tell us about the start of all the solar system, the galaxies, the universes, the dimensions, the levels, the planes and the realms, and the start of humanity as well. They also mention the sun. They mention the Carrington effect. They're talking about the DNA, you know, everything, Aage, everything you mentioned is in that knowledge book. They gathered all, you know, they handed down the knowledge, you know, and We got it all wrong with religion, you know, hundreds of years or thousands of years ago. But anyway, they say now we're ready for it, ready for the, you know, the information, ready to go higher. So that's it. Right on, Aage. Just excellent presentation, my sir. Excellent presentation. I don't really have a question, you know, but
Thank you,
anyway,
Carol.
that's it.
Okay, thank
If
you. And-
anybody in Toronto, you know, if anybody's in Toronto, we're looking for one more for our council. The three of us will study for 62 weeks. And then
Carol,
we're gonna
why don't
open up
you
public.
put
Oh, I'll put it in the
your
chat.
email
Yes, good
in the
idea.
chat?
Yes.
Perfect. And then
Okay.
people can get a hold of you. So
Thanks.
there was,
Thanks, Aage.
there's a question from Heidi, and she said, what can we do to prepare for the gamma rays coming?
Well, I'm not so sure if it's going to do any good or not, but I have a Faraday cage here at the house. And every one of you have a Faraday cage, each called a microwave. If you put whatever you put into an empty spare microwave is sitting in a Faraday cage. And I have a spare computer in there. I have walkie-talkies in there, and I have batteries in there, and I got a few things. It's just big microwave sitting there with stuff that if things go south, I at least will have a computer. So whenever things are repaired, I will have a way to get on and communicate. Especially the walkie-talkies. I can take those out because there may be other people that also are aware of how they can save things from being burned up by the sun flare, because it will wipe out, burn all the computer and electronics. They will go if it is strong enough, because the magnetic field around Earth has been diminishing for the last 20 years. It's about 40, I think about 35% less than it was 30 years ago. And that's not good.
Right.
So anyway, that's what I prepare for. But on the other hand, I am not worried about the future because it's going to be good. And why do I know that? Two reasons. For the first of all, I have already created the future. And I have visualized it into existence, into the future. And I go back and forth, visit it every day. That's my timeline. And when it comes to all the crap and the garbage that is all over the internet about all the nuclear war and stuff I don't watch it. I don't listen to it. I don't want that in my mind to dilute my timeline. So for good people, if you keep your head clean, stay on focus of what you want in the future, you're going to be all right. But if you keep filling your mind with all the videos about, oh, we're going to have nuclear war by Thursday, you know, you've seen that one probably a few times. Yeah, there is no guarantees. I don't take the chance on any of that stuff. I stay with my timeline the way I want to see it. And so far, it is working for me. Because on the MasterMind, we concentrate on peace. Peace are emerging. And we concentrate on abundance and things that we need in our life now. And it is happening. So if you want to participate in the MasterMind, send me an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com. That is themastermindconnection@gmail.com. I'll send you some information and a link to come and join us and participate and observe and see if this is something that you want to be part of.
Beautiful. So I did put that in the chat for anyone who's interested. Again, that is the Mastermind Connection at gmail.com. And Aage, one more question that I have for you. Earlier, you referenced that you had 2 photographs side by side that you had actually taken that show the future. I was wondering if you could explain that just a little bit more, and if you could actually let people know which website to go to find that.
Okay, that is, go to broadcastteamalpha.com. And then you go into the picture gallery and go to, I believe is page 15.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, there in the middle of the page, I think there's about 20 pictures on each page, or 24, I'm not sure. In the middle of the page, there's 2 pictures next to each other. They're kind of greenish in color. That is, and then you click on the picture and you can read the text that goes with it. I have put in there how the picture were taken and where they were taken and the date stamped on it.
Beautiful.
And if anybody knows me, there's going to be people saying, oh yeah, sure, but you can change, you can change the date stamp. No, I can't, but maybe others can, but my level of computer knowledge ranks right up there with the village idiot. So that's not something that I've done.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I want to thank you so much, Aage, for being our guest, being my co-host for the month, and just bringing some phenomenal speakers. Before we close, and I was wondering if you have any, final comments that you'd like to share with everyone.
Go to Amazon, go and put my name in there, and go have a look at that book, Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. Click on the picture and then read all the subjects that it's written about. It goes all the way from who God was and all the way up to what's on the moon and Mars and all kinds of goofy stuff in there. Just look at the subject areas. And see if there's something that you like. Otherwise, I would just, no, okay. It is your responsibility to keep your mind clean and control your own mind and don't let other people do it. And that's hard work sometimes when you're around people that is not so positive all the time. But be careful with what you allow to dwell in your mind, because that is what you're going to have in your life. And beyond that, it is our job to take care of us. Nobody else does it.
Awesome. Thank you. And that's also great food for thought. And I loved what you were sharing with people. No matter what you hear, if it's something that doesn't resonate with something that you're trying to create, or something you believe to hold true, use the cancel. So that is attached to that statement and goes into the subconscious. So that was awesome food for thought.
It works for me.
Okay, so I want to thank everyone for being here. I do sincerely appreciate your hanging out with us. Aage, thank you so much for calling back in. Everyone has thoroughly enjoyed it. Lots and lots of wonderful comments. So I just thank you very much. And everyone, if you do want to reach out to Aage, you can go to the team broadcastalpha.com. You can also find him on Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube, or you can go to the Conscious Awakening Network and you can find him there as well as Nori Love, his partner in crime, as we like to say here. So she has a show on health and wellness. She's absolutely phenomenal, just a sweetheart. And I think you would enjoy all of her programming as well. So people, thank you so much. And until we're back together again next week, I want to wish you namaste as I invite Susie to go ahead and come on up, and you just take us out of here tonight, Susie.
Thank you. This is by Michael Gottlieb. Love is all we see. Love is all we see. Love is the truth that's in me. Love is the truth that's in me. When I get discouraged thinking all is lost, when I get discouraged thinking everything is lost, love is there, love is here, love is there, and love is here. Love is all we see. Love is the truth that's in me. When I thinking all is lost, when I get discouraged thinking everything is lost, love is there, love is here, love is here, love is here. Thank you guys. Mwah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Susie. Everyone, till we're back together again next week, much love and have a beautiful rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, folks.